nobody on this road that can save your soul. Almost lost control now. Tell me what you need in a friend and now. Pray that we endure to the end again. I'm just saying that I'm here for you. When the world turn against you, I'ma be with you. Got my sword in my hand, you can count on me. I won't run and hide, fight mightily.
Waiting on your house shot. See the Jacob, I'm the apple of my father's eye. I learned the truth for who I was and it made me cry. If I don't keep the laws of Yah, then I'm gonna die. Living curses, but I'm edifying in my verses. Prepare the hearses for the heathens who be steady learning.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. All praise Yahweh Shema Mashek, woman like Yahushai. All praises, all praises, all praises. And we in this fourth quarter of this truth. No time for foolishness, no time for folly. Time for everybody to get their households in order. Time to take an account. Time to trim the fat. Time to be consistent, right? On this Manna Mondays, I want to go over a lesson through the Spirit on having gratitude, right? We've been doing the 50 for 50 through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and really trying to tap into, gain more understanding in the scriptures and the precepts. And a lot of times what we got to realize is that the scriptures are practical. A lot of people think the Bible is just full of fairy tales and allegory and parables, right? Some things are parables, some things are allegory, but nothing is fairy tale. And it's practical knowledge for you to apply to your everyday life. There's a lot of people who are ungrateful, and even myself, I'm very ungrateful because I don't think about all of the things that the Most High does for me on a day-to-day basis. I don't think about the fact that I can breathe. Some people who have, birth defects, who lungs don't work. Some people who are born with a cleft lip, they don't have a bridge of their mouth. And certain people who are lame, they can't walk, they can't talk. Certain people who are afflicted by wicked diseases of addiction. I was once one of those people, addicted to drugs before I came into this truth. So there's a lot of things to be grateful for, even in terms of, I know one of the elephants in the room is people are always talking about financial freedom, especially in America. Everybody wants to live. I'm not going to say everybody, but chiefly a lot of people want to live the American dream to obtain home ownership or a nice car or, a certain amount of money in your bank account or whatever it may be. But we all have to learn just to be grateful. So, and I'm not saying that you can't strive for more things. You can be in the truth. You don't have to be poor to be righteous. And you don't have to be rich to be wicked. I'm going to say that again. You don't have to be poor to be righteous. And you don't have to be rich to be wicked. Let that sink in. But everybody should be grateful for the things in which they have. I'm going to start off with 1 Thessalonians 5:18, right? And we're going to go through a couple of precepts through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai in terms of being grateful, right? Bear with me, y'all. In terms of being grateful. 1 Thessalonians 5:18 reads, "In everything give thanks, for this is the will of God and the Mashiach Yahushai concerning you." So in every single thing, you should be grateful. You should always find a way and a reason to be grateful for everything that the Most High God has given you. Now, everything that he's given you, whether you consider it good, bad, strongholds, hardships, it's good to go through hardships. If you don't go through hardships, you'll never have an appreciation of, when times are good. It's like people who always wanted to just be sunny. If you live in a place where it's always sunny, you don't appreciate the sun, as much as you should, because there was never rain. All praise Yahweh Shem Yahushai, right? Blessings to you as well. You know what I'm saying? So you want to always be in a mind frame to realize it could always be worse. It's somebody who has it worse than you have it. It's somebody who has it worse than you will ever have it. So you have to be in a mind frame to learn how to be appreciative in every situation and to always give thanks. And that's a very humbling thing to go before the Most High and realize, like, Lord, you could have jammed me up. You know, I could have 4 fingers right now and 3 toes, right? So, you know, all praise Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. So you gotta get into the mind frame to really know and to really realize that it could always be worse for somebody else. And you gotta really, really like tap into that. All right. Let's get Hebrews 12 and 28. So it's the book of Hebrews, chapter 12 and verse 28, and it reads, wherefore we receiving a kingdom which cannot be moved, let us have grace whereby we may serve God acceptably with reverence and godly fear, right? So when you think about that, think about if you endure, Lord willing, unto the end, the reward that you get. We should be thankful to even know that the Most High God has a reward for the children of Israel who endure unto the end, right? It says, he who endureth unto the end, the same should be saved. You got to be thankful just for the promises that the Most High God has given you, all right? And look, and even if you're not an Israelite, you got to be thankful that the God of Israel is the only true and living God. Think of if these idols were real. I mean, that sounds kind of insane though. Like, think about that. You got to be thankful that the Most High God has such rich promises for the children of Israel to be in righteous rulerships, that the whole rest of the world, when Christ is in rulership and the children of Israel are in that that governing body, that the world is going to be run in righteousness. That's something to be thankful about. That's something to be thankful and joyous about, right? It's not going to be any more how do you say it? It's not going to be any more damn famines. Shalom Malak. Call out Yahweh Shem
I like
Shai.
to watch me outside.
It's not going to be any more. You see, it's no background music. Hey, Captain said, cut off the background music, man. See, ain't no background music tonight. All praises. But you got to be thankful for that, man. Is that I was just going into how we got to be thankful and have gratitude and be content in all situations, and how, like, even if you're not an Israelite, how you got to be even thankful for the mercy of the Most High that should I send a $500 chat? No, that's all right. We ain't here. We're not here for the super chats and things of that nature. You know what I mean? We just want to give the word. You know, the Most High put on your spirit to do that, so be it. Right? So you got to be thankful that the Most High God has put into place righteous rulership. And there's going to come a time on the earth where it is no famine, right? There's no wars. There's no damn Jeffrey Epstein, doing things to the children. We got to be thankful for these things, right? I'm going to grab Psalms 118, and I want to get verses. I want to get from the top. We're going to go through like verse 18. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 118 from the top. Oh, give thanks unto Yahweh, for he is good, because his mercy endureth forever. A lot of us aren't merciful. You know, we don't care about other people like we should, right? So from that perspective, you got to be thankful that the Most High God is merciful, because he could have destroyed the earth again. His mercy is so rich that he destroyed the earth and killed everybody except for 8 people with a flood. And he said, you know what? Because of my mercy, I won't do that. I'll just make sure my spirit doesn't strive with man for all times. So he shortened the life expectancy, right? But he gave us a promise, all the world with the rainbow, that he wouldn't flood and kill everybody again. That's mercifulness. Let Israel now say that his mercy endureth forever. Let the house of Aaron now say, his mercy endureth forever. Let them now that fear Yahweh say that his mercy endureth forever. I called upon the Lord in distress, and Yahweh answered me and set me in a large place. Yahweh is on my side. I will not fear. What can man do unto me? These are comforting words of mercy. These are comforting words that you should give thanks for. Like, dang, man, with the Lord on my side, the water Abanawa Yahweh, I have nothing to fear. This is what I mean about being gracious, whether you're in sickness. And sometimes you might have sickness afflicting your body, right? Some people have terrible diseases. They got to give thanks to the Most High God that they're still even alive, that it can always be worse, y'all. It can always be worse. And reading on, verse 7 Yahweh taketh my part with them that help me. Therefore shall I see my desires upon them that hate me. It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man. It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in princes. See, a lot of people, they're not thankful that the Most High God will set up righteous rulership. A lot of people really put their trust in the current government. You don't want to be caught in that lot. All nations compass me about, but in the name of Yahweh will I destroy them. And King David is talking that talk. They compass me about, yea, they compass me about, but in the name of Yahweh I will destroy them. They compass me about like bees. They are quenched as fire of thorns. For in the name of Yahweh I will destroy them. Thou hast thrust sore at me that I might fall, but Yahweh has helped me. So you got to be thankful in all situations, whether it's war, whether it's peace, whether it's famine, whether it's sickness, whether you're on the verge of death, whether you have an overabundance, right? You got to be able to abound and abase in all things and to know that the Most High God, and he doesn't make any mistakes. All right. And that should put you in a mind frame of humility and a mind frame to be thankful. All right. You got anything, King? All right, brother must have stepped away. All praises. I'm going to get 2 Timothy 1 and 7. Get the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 1 and verse 7. Right. And once again, we're going to being thankful and having gratitude. All right. 2 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 7. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. That's something to be thankful for. Of having a sound mind. Watch this, y'all. I'm going to show you this. This is why you got to be thankful for having a sound mind. Listen to this. What's the percentage of people afflicted with mental health? All right. This is why you got to be thankful to have a sound mind. Globally, nearly 1 in 7 people, so about 14% of people, live with a mental health disorder. In the US, mental health prevalence is higher. Over 1 in 5 adults, so 23% of people, they say, experience any mental illness in a given year. And nearly half of all US adults, 46%, will meet the criteria for a diagnosable mental health condition sometime during their lifetime. Now, you got to take the meat off the bone. You know, big pharmacy brings out a lot of different type of mental health conditions and, you know, prescription drug prescribable disorders so that they can make more money and sell you poison. But even if you think about it in the context, 1 in 5 adults, 23 adults, as they say, that's 23.4% of all people will be, per their data, will be afflicted with some sort of mental illness, mental health. So we got to be thankful. You got to be really thankful to the Most High of having a sound mind. Hey, there's nothing more continent than a sound mind, right? 1 second. I want to get this quick precept, Salaki, that just came to mind. In terms of having that sound mind as well, right? 1 second. Because, you know, it's a lot of people who end up being commit suicide, you know, who unalive themselves. Who unalive themselves, right? You got it, King. I'm trying to think of this quick precept that came to mind. Trying to pull it up. I think, matter of fact, I think the precept that I'm thinking about is also touching on having a good wife, how she'll bring you that sound mind. That's a blessing for the Lord as well. Think I'm thinking about Sirach, the 26th chapter, matter of fact. But you got it, King.
God, all praise to the Most High. Um, actually, I need to set my screen share up.
All right, okay. Well, while you do that, I'll grab another precept real quick.
All right, come.
All right. I'm gonna get Ephesians 2 and 8, matter of fact, real quick. The book of Ephesians, chapter 2 and verse 8, and it reads, For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is a gift of Yahweh. You got to be thankful that it's not all just up to your works. Think about that. If we were judged just on our works alone, hey, we wouldn't make it. Wouldn't no flesh make it. All of your works are as filthy rags. And that filthy rags goes into a menstrual cloth. So when you think about how a menstrual cloth is so unclean, a woman couldn't even go to make a sacrifice or couldn't even go to the temple if she was unclean. Think about that. So if your works are as a menstrual cloth, as a filthy rag, you definitely cannot just make it on your works alone. And that's why people get confused when they say, well, you know what? Y'all taking out Christ. Y'all just teaching works, 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 works. No, we not. We teaching faith and works and grace all mixed in one, but in the proper context. And we're thankful to the Most High that, for giving us faith, and we thankful for giving us the gift of salvation. That's a gift from the Most High. He doesn't owe you that outside of the fact that he said he would give it to you. All right. So these are other things that we got to be thankful for and that we got to realize. Con, you got it, King.
God, all praise to the Most High. Did you bring out First Thessalonians 5?
God, I kicked it off with that 5 and 18. You going 5 and
Did
18?
you hear me, King?
God, can you hear me?
Did you bring
God,
out
can you
First
hear me?
Thessalonians 5? Yo,
God. Can you hear me,
now I
King?
can hear you.
Yeah, 5 and
Yeah, I
18.
can hear you now. Yeah.
God, kicked it off with that through the spirit of Bar Yahweh Shem Shah.
Okay, all praises. What about, did you go to Philippians 4?
La.
All right, all praises. Okay. Salakia, bear with me one second.
La.
Bear with me one second. Philippians. Man, I don't know how to. All praises. I'm gonna just read it from my phone. Philippians 4 and 12 through 13. It's this in the GNT. It says, "I know what it is to be in need, and what it is to have more than enough."
Mm.
This is important that we go through life experiences that the Most High puts us through, sometimes just to equip you with these abilities, with the ability to have the mindset of understanding what and being in situations where you know what it is to be in need and you know what it is to have more than enough, to create a good balance for yourself.
Mm.
It says, "I have learned this secret so that anywhere at any time I am content." And I'm glad to use those words, "I have learned this secret," because that's an untapped skill for a lot of people. You got to really kind of grow and mature into that to have that skill to be able to anywhere at any time truly be content. I really ask yourself right now in this life that you live, can you say that at anywhere and at any time that you could just truly be content, completely content? I don't know if I could say that. I think that there would be times to where I notice that I need to get built up more strongly within that. And that's what we all got to be working towards in this truth, Lord willing. because somebody always has it worse than you, and somebody's always going to have it better than you too. And that's just what you have to realize. So when you see, looking around and you see people having it better than you, don't let comparison be the thief of your joy. And when you see people that don't have as much as you know, pray for your people, and you know, pray that the Lord keep them content, but also learn from that, because the Lord could put you in a situation to where you have less than what you just had, and you got to be able to still be content with it. Within that, it says, whether I am full or hungry, whether I have too much or too little, I have the strength to face all conditions by the power that Hamashiach gives me. Now, a lot of people don't know that Philippians 4 and 13, where it says, I can do all things through Hamashiach who strengthens me. They don't know that verse right before it in 12, and where it's leading up to. And it's talking about being content. And it's talking about knowing that no matter what situation you in, you always lean on the Lord. You always lean on Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and you use that strength that you get from Mashiach Wamalak Yahushai to be content in any and every situation. You got it, King.
Well said. Well said. All praise to the Most High. I'm gonna go to Proverbs chapter 30 and follow up with that because it's easy to not be content. You got to think it's so many things to obtain in this world on the carnal level. There's so many things, right? I want to, matter of fact, I'm gonna jump around in this chapter, but I want to start with this 30 and where it says right here, Proverbs 30 and 15. The horse leech have two daughters, crying, "Give, give." There are three things that are never satisfied. Yea, four things say not, it is enough. The grave in the barren womb, the earth that is not filled with water, and the fire that saith it is not enough. So when you think about this, it's there's an innumerable amount of things to desire in the world, both on the left hand and on the right hand side, right? And too much of anything can be bad for you, except for righteousness. There's no such thing as too much of striving to be righteous, right? So when you think about being content and being happy, a lot of people sometimes think and they relate having a level of contentment of where you are as being lazy. Now it can go into that, but you cannot just box it into that. And what I mean by very simply, you might have somebody who, man, they just content with, they may be like, look, I got all I need, or I'm not looking for a better job. I'm not looking for this. I'm not looking for that. Hey, I'm thankful for what I have. That doesn't mean that brother or that sister doesn't have any type of drive or aspirations. And that's how the Most High just put their spirit. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just like there's nothing wrong with that brother or sister who may say, look, I want a little bit more. The problem comes in when you can't accept where you are. It's like, you know what? I want a little bit more, but I'm also thankful for what I have while I'm striving to do A, B, and C, and not being content or being able to be content sometimes is how people end up in sticky situations. They're like, look, you know what? I went and I hit this lick because I wasn't content of what I have and I wanted more. So my desire to want more led me to do something unethical to try to obtain that other thing that I wanted. And that's a problem. So I want to bring this out as well. It says, Proverbs 30 and 7, two things have I required of thee. And this is Solomon, right? It says King Agor, right? But people say when you go into this, it's another epithet, possibly for Solomon, right? Two things have I required of thee. Deny me them before I die. Remove far from me vanity and lies, because you don't want to get caught up in vanity. And just vanity goes into after grasping after the wind, pointless aspirations and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me. And that can mean different things to different people. The Most High gives everybody their own lot. Food convenient for your household might not be food convenient for the next man's household. Your aspirations may not be the next man or woman's aspirations. So you have to be able to pray to the Most High and ask Him, look, ultimately, don't give me anything that's going to sift me out of this truth. That really should be your prayer, right? And what did Yahweh say? And when he taught us how to pray, he said, give us this day our daily bread. That's basically saying, give me what I need to survive. And Lord, if you want to bless me with a little bit of extras or a lot of extra, hey, so be it. Hey, Lord, if you want to cut me down and take away the things in which I have, so be it. So we got to be able to pray and hope that we only depend on the Most High. Because if you have too much, I've been into times where I've had more than I needed. I've been in times where I had less than I thought that I needed to survive. Right. But in all the times, all praise to the Most High. Hey, sometimes I did some things that I shouldn't have did. That's how I ended up in prison. I was out here doing some things that I shouldn't have been doing, trying to chase material gain, and that's vanity. So you got to pray to the Most High for a spirit of comfort and a spirit of being content to wherever He puts you, if that's a part of your lot. You got it, King.
Man, that was so on point. Because, man, it spills over into so many different things as far as not even just from a financial standpoint, but you'll find yourself chasing after things that you don't even need in many different folds. You're chasing women because you're not content. You're not even recognizing what you got already at home. That gets a lot of brothers in bad situations. And man, just all praise to the Most High, man. Um I'm gonna go to Isaiah 26, I believe, because man, all praise to the Most High, Yahweh Shem Shai. Being content goes hand in hand with being at peace. Because when you're at peace, you're not easily rattled, and you're not, you're able to just be good with whatever you got going on because you're at peace. The Lord can give you peace in any situation. You could be in the midst of a crazy storm, and you can just say, Lord, please, peace be still. And still, you might still have that storm going on, but the Lord will just have you content and at peace. It says, Isaiah 26:3, Thou, Salakia, thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee. Just think about being given the condition of perfect peace from the Lord. He said he'll keep you in perfect peace, man. That means it's not imperfect. There's no flaw within it. There's no chink in the armor. You just at perfect peace because your mind is stayed on the Lord and you trust in the Lord. I know that we're all and should all be striving to just have so much trust that it don't matter what's going on, you're just at peace. That's got to be such a beautiful state to be in. Like, we can only hope and pray and fight to get to that point to where we in such perfect peace and so much trust in the Lord that we just can't be phased. And that's just true contentment, man. And we strive to be content in all situations. We got to keep in mind that goes hand in hand with being at peace, man. So whatever, brothers and sisters, you got a lot of stuff going on. Strive for that peace. Just keep that in mind. Like, Lord, just allow me to be at peace with things. Allow me to be able to adapt. Allow me to be able to progress, and just allow me to be at perfect peace if I keep my mind stayed on you, Lord. You got it.
In perfect peace. And we don't even understand what that mean though. Like when you think about, that's kind of hard to Sometimes even in this captivity, it's hard to wrap your mind around perfect peace. You know what I mean? Like being unmovable. And
Perfect. I'm gonna just go to it real quick. It says completeness, soundness, welfare, peace, completeness, safety, soundness, health, prosperity, peace, quiet, tranquility, contentment, peace with God, especially in a covenant relationship.
mm,
Peace, peace. All praise to the Most High, man.
with God, especially in the covenant relationship. That's on a whole nother level,
Nah,
right?
for real.
Wow, that's on a whole nother level for real, man. Um, real quick, real quick, I want to grab this quick precept real quick. I want to get Sirach 29 and 21. Sirach 29 and 21 because, and I want to grab this real quick too. I had pulled it up. They were, but I'll digress. But it basically was going into the unaliving rate. A lot of people, it's a high level. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it, Salaki. Let me get it real quick. What's level of people commit this word due to economic hardship? Now, there's a lot of people who go into look economic hardship. All right, let me share this real quick. Economic hardship contributes roughly to 13% of unalivings. While financial problems are rarely the sole cause and usually overlap with other factors like mental health issues, studies reveal that people facing cumulative financial strains such as debt, unemployment, and low income have a 20 times higher predictable probability of attempting unaliving themselves. You really think about that. All of that is done because if somebody is unhappy with their financial situation, hardships. And these things can press heavily on one's mind, on your psychological health. These are essentially spirits that are jumping on you. So you want to make sure that you have that you're rooted in the most high and knowing that look, no matter what you go through, Lord willing, you're gonna get through it. You gotta coach and encourage yourself sometimes. You're not always gonna have someone around you to uplift you, right? So the book of Sirach, chapter 29 and verse 21. The chief things for life is water and bread and clothing and a house to cover shame. So these are what they call the essentials, and if you're struggling, there's a lot of our people who are homeless. You see the homeless rate is rising because of a lot of economic strains that are happening in the American economy. The social fabric, the job market. Some people say it's drying up. Some people say it's more jobs than ever. Right? You got to be able to be humble as well, because sometimes people are in certain situations because they're just not humble. They're like, you know what? I'm used to getting this. If I don't get this, hell with a job. Hey, sometimes people find themselves in situations because they don't know how to take an opportunity when it's presented to them. And sometimes people get in situations because they had an opportunity and they go looking for the next thing, the next best and greater thing, and they lose the thing in which they have. So you have to be able to learn how to be content and to use discernment. Sometimes it's not a profitable time, or it's not the right time to go and seek something better. And sometimes you got to just be thankful for what you have, and you have to learn how to manage those situations. And
Yeah.
sometimes you may be in a situation and it might not be profitable for you. No pun intended, not talking about money, but it might not just be the right conditions for you to succeed and excel. And you got to have discernment then as well of knowing, okay, maybe it's time for me to level up. And maybe it's time for me to take that next step. And with all of these situations, you got to have discernment and you got to pray on things on when to make the right move. And sometimes you're going to make the wrong move. And you got to even be comforted in that. Be like, you know what? Hey, I moved presumptuously. Hey, I misjudged that situation. I made the wrong move. But now I'm in this situation and I got to deal with it. And let me do all that I can in the situation that I have right now. So there's multiple different types of things that may come up, but as long as you got water, bread, clothing, and when it says a house to cover shame, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily got to be a homeowner or a renter. Hey, you might be at a shelter. Hey, you might be homeless and only have a tent. But you got to be thankful that you're alive and the Most High at least gave you what you have, right? And have and faith, because a lot of times I can tell you certain times, like when me and my wife first got together, I didn't have no spot. You know, I was living with my sister, to be honest. I'm like, man, I'm not moving back with my mom. I just got home from prison. You know, I didn't want to go and live with my family. Um, so I moved in with my sister. And I was doing little odd jobs. You know, I was hustling on the side and things of that nature, right? All just in truth. But I wasn't happy. But I knew that certain lifestyles I couldn't go back to, or it would land me back where I was, where I just left. And so I was at a lower state, you know. Um, I had a little business. It wasn't popping like that. You know what I mean? And when I think about all praise to the Most High, since I came home 16 years ago, it's been ups, it's been downs. But the one thing that has stayed consistent is no matter if I had more than I needed or if I had, less than I thought I should have, all praise to the Most High. He never put the spirit back on me to try to do some irate thing that get me out of here. And that's nothing but the Most High. And that's about being able to have that sound mind. Now, there was times that I was on the edge, I was on the verge even before I came into the truth. Like, well, you know what? Some got to shake. But he always gave me that. Even before I knew who the Most High was, looking back at it, all praise to the Most High. He never gave my mind over to ultimate heaviness where I just damn bugged out. And you got to have the faith and to know that the Most High has your back if you're putting your trust in the Most High. Now, if you're not putting your trust in the Most High, ultimately He still can show you grace and mercy and favor, and you got to be thankful to that. You know, my brother, you got it.
All praises, man. All praises. And all praises for um, putting women in our life that when it's good and when it's bad, they still there to support. All praise to
Uh,
the Most High. We
all praise.
go through hard times. Sometimes we got it, sometimes we don't. They're still there to support like a godly woman should. All praise to the Most High, man. I definitely
All
know what you
praise.
mean. I'm gonna go to First Timothy. Follow up with where you was just at in the apocrypha. I'm gonna go to First Timothy, chapter 6,
God.
and I'm gonna read verse 7 and 8. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. Matter of
Mm,
fact, I'm gonna start at 6. I'm gonna start at 5. Perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness. From such withdraw thyself. That'll keep you from being content, and it'll keep you from being at peace because you feel like the more that you gain, the more godly you become, and that's just not the case. Doesn't mean the Lord can't bless you abundantly if He chooses to, but like my brother was saying earlier, you what you do with the blessings for one, and two, You want the Lord to hear your cry and really be for real when you pray for Him to give you only what you can handle and will keep you in this truth. Because none of it is worth you being sifted out. And none of what you gain, none of what you heap up is going to make you any more godly. It says, but godliness with contentment is great gain. Godliness and being content with where He has you at is great gain. That's what it say. To be godly, to walk in these laws, statutes, commandments, and faith in Mashiach Malak Yahushua, and to be content with what you got going on is great gain. Because you've gained, not only are you in the truth, not only are you serving the Most High, not only are you becoming a better person, but you've gained a great quality. And that quality is just being able to be content. That's why it says contentment is a great gain alongside with godliness. Because that's a great quality to have and it'll take you a long way. It says, for we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. That's the facts. You didn't bring anything into this world, and you can't take anything out. So why not be content with what you have and what you got going on, the situation that you in? That spirit get on you that you want to just, it's like a never ending chase, a never ending marathon of you just trying to get more and more and more and more. It's one thing, there's a difference between the Lord blessing you with more because you are content versus the spirit of you relentlessly chasing more. There's a difference there. And it's easy to get it crossed because you could be telling yourself, the Lord want me to do this because He want me to go and get this. He want me to have this one. But if you notice that you're lacking in godliness, then you need to get your mind right and stop confusing yourself because the Lord could just be giving you over into a vain spirit and a spirit that just is not content with anything. So there's a difference between sitting back, doing what you got to do for your family, serving the Lord first, and the Lord just blessing you with more because that's what He has and wants for you, versus you just being in a relentless, life draining chase for more when you can't take any of it with you anyway. It says, and having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. Hey, having something to eat and having clothes to put on your back, your children are fed, your wife is fed, they're clothed with fringes.
And a ribbon
That's
of blue.
ripping the blue. And that's a reason to be content, man, with what you got going on. And that's a reason to be joyful. And matter of fact, I'm gonna get one more. I'm gonna get Psalms 118. We get the book of Psalms, chapter 118. Because each day, man, that you blessed to wake up and still have the desire to serve Yahweh, that's a blessed day. It says Psalms 118 and 24, this is the day which Yahweh have made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. That's easy to do every day if you content and if you at peace. It's easy to wake up every day and rejoice and be glad in another day that the Lord has made. And that's, man, that's a beautiful quality, man. And we gotta want that. We gotta desire that. And Lord willing, we all can continue to strive towards that. All praise to the Most High. You got it, King.
Con. I wrap up with this precept to the spirit and power Yah by Shemal Shai. Um, you got to think about the words of Yahweh Shai. The words of Yahweh Shai, right? Matthew 6 and 21. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
That's the spirit.
That's the spirit. You was going there.
Now
Oh,
I was gonna leave off from where I was, but I contemplated going there.
all praises. And it's playing upon tables. You know, it doesn't mean that you can't seek things, but don't let that be where your sincere desire is. Be like, man, all I everything, you know, it's that spirit that I gotta get the bag spirit. Man, I'm getting the bag, man. Get to the bag. Man, I gotta taste the money. I gotta, man. Look, I need this. I need it, man. And now all you that consumes you. That's really where your treasure is. So that's where your mind is gonna be. This is what Yahweh Shah is teaching us. Wherever your true desire is, that's where your focus is gonna be in obtaining whatever that true desire is. And even on a subconscious level, everything you do is gonna kind of guide you to that chasing that desire, you know. So, and that can go into women, can go into material things, it can go into lust, and it can be something on the right hand side as well, though. And you could have a sincere desire to get a wife and get a family. You could have a sincere desire to, you know, to teach more. You could have a sincere desire to want to, hey, go to camp more. You know what I mean? Whatever your sincere desire is, that's where your mind is going to be focused on obtaining. Hey, whether right, wrong, or indifferent. You know what I mean? All praise to the Most High. It's definitely a blessing to be content. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High. Yahweh Shem Shai.
All praises.
All praise. All praise to the Most High. Yahweh Shem Shai. You got it, King.
Come. All praises, man. It's a good place to land. All about Shemi Shai. So with that, we give all praise, honor, and glory to the one true Most High God, Yahweh. We do so in the name of His Son, by Shema Mashiach Malak Shai, Lord willing. The lesson was edifying. Kwame Ashala, Shalom, Yashala.
Shalom.